And I'm hoping people do call, and if I don't have the answer, which, you know, if it's something that I don't know a lot about, I certainly will take down your name and get back to you with that information. But when I was first asked to come on, I thought, you know what, like, you can only talk Presto so long, you can only talk LRT, you can only, like, I mean, everybody loves to do it, but let's just talk about some fun stuff. And so I went to the source on for bylaw. Christine Hartig is like our animal person, right? Yes. Whether it's the circus or whether it's dogs in the park. Christine is everything about that. And, you know, something that I found out that was really interesting was that I got a comeback from Arlene Gregoire, actually, who's our Director of Building Services, because I included her. Are there some crazy building things? Mm-hmm. And she said, I hear that a white swan left his or her mate for a black swan. Now, those of you in Ottawa, I mean, that can bring up a whole bunch of debate. Why? I mean, why do we have an equestrian park? Well, why do we have swans? But anyways, it's true. That woman did leave her man. And it says it was an immature and newly mated pair of mute white swans, so a rather tenuous relationship. It's unusual for an Australian black and a mute swan to hang out, but it can happen. So she left her white swan for another.
This is Animal Week. I don't think I've ever talked about or reported on animals as much this week. Here we're talking about swans, and yesterday it was all about horses. So before we get into some more details, I know you have a lot there, but we actually have a couple of calls. Great. And so I've promised the listeners they have free access for the next hour to you. So we're going to go to Rod, who is on line 2. Rod, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Rod.
Question for Jan. Green Bank Road. It seems like promises have been made for years that we're going to get our expansion to 4-lane, and it's been left in the background all the time. And it's still one of the most dangerous roads in the winter to go up and down.
Are you talking, just for clarification, Rod, the whole thing, or are you talking about through the green belt?
Something with Green Bank Road.
Okay, so just so you know, in the past, the piece of Green Bank that's in between Hunt Club and Fallowfield, which is the open field. Remember back in the days we didn't have lights along there, remember?
Yep.
And the snow that used to drift across, I mean, it's always been bad for accidents, and we've had actually people killed along there. That's NCC property, and there never was an interest from them in allowing us to do anything with it. But we've pushed that envelope, and so you might have heard we're working on the Master Transportation Plan. That's one of the pieces for Barrhaven that I want to include that hasn't been in the past because we haven't had the control over it. However, if you think about where you turn to go to the Walter Baker at Malvern, and from Malvern to, say, Sobeys, where it's not widened yet, we've been working on that for at least 2.5 years. And we should have started it this year. And the difficulty we're having is the same difficulty and extra costs that are incurred with all of these major roads in Barrhaven because of the VIA track. In that case on Green Bank, working with VIA, we're putting in an underpass because it has to be grade separated. They won't allow it otherwise. And so I have a commitment from staff that work will start in next year. But it's very difficult. And I've heard recently, you know, we need to widen Strandherd from Home Depot to the 416. But you know what? What crosses there? We're having difficulties with VIA again on Strandherd. So it takes us longer, even though with the growth we certainly have the development charges that are coming in to pay for this stuff. So I hope that...
We did manage to get Woodruff Avenue through the NCC.
Absolutely. No, totally different. Because you think about Woodruff Avenue, there's farms along there that are owned by the NCC that Minto, as the landlord, leases out.
Rod, thanks very much for your call. We've got to move on right now. We're moving on to